Hey guys, it's Andrew, and today we're going to be building my first PC. Now, a while back I helped Brian build his, but this is my first actual build of a PC, and in fact my first real PC besides a laptop that I've had. So this is going to be primary for photo and video editing, maybe a little gaming here and there, but I have an Xbox for that. So this is mainly going to be for photo and video editing and all the productive stuff that requires a powerful computer that my older MacBook just can't handle. Okay, so we can go over some of the components. So over here we have the motherboard. It's a Gigabyte H110M-A. And this is one of the cheapest motherboards I could find for the chipset, which is the Intel. I chose the i5. So this one it doesn't have wireless or anything like that, but I'll have a LAN connection at my desk, so that wasn't really necessary. Next to that, we have the graphics card. This is the EVGA GTX 750 Ti. Now this is the one with the two fans that actually does require a PCIe connection. A lot of these 750s, they make them in just the one fan model, and they're known for not needing a power supply connection. They go straight into the motherboard. Right here, we have the Western Digital Blue 1TB. This is just for storage because right here we have a crucial 275 gigabyte SSD, which is going to be used to boot and install primary applications that I'm going to use a lot, like the Adobe Suite and things like that. Right here is the actual processor, the Intel Core i5. That is the 660K, I believe. Yep, the 660K. So that's the unlocked. You can overclock it. Doesn't come with the cooler. So right next to that, I've got the RAM. It's 16 gigabytes of Kingston Fury. Like I said, the processor doesn't include a cooler. So right here we have the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo. That's actually a really big fan cooler. So it's not like the little Intel or AMD ones you get included with your processor. This is pretty massive. Under this, I have my 500 watt EVGA power supply. Again, just like the motherboard, I kind of went with the cheapest here that had good reviews. Because, I mean, I don't need modularity or anything. Right here we have the DVD drive. Now it's kind of funny because this case actually doesn't have a DVD drive or a DVD cutout for it. However, I do need it for installing Windows because I have a disk. So it's kind of just going to hang out of the computer until Windows is installed, and then I'm pretty much done with it unless I have any other need for it. And then speaking of the case, this is a Fantex. I can't remember what the model is, but it'll be in the link in the description. This is a nice white case with the window on this side. Now something really cool about this case is that it has LEDs down here where the Fantex logo is, and then it actually comes with well, it doesn't come with this, but it's optional, a magnetic LED strip that can go around here. And then there's a splitter inside, and what's really cool is there's a button right here that you can alternate through the colors inside and outside, or you can long press to turn it off as a whole. Okay, so now that we got the case out of the way, we can start unboxing stuff. First, we're going to look at the motherboard, the processor, and the video card. So let's take a look at the motherboard first. So this motherboard is the LGA 1151 socket. It supports up to DDR4 RAM. So here's your I/O shield. Some people say that's the most difficult thing to do as a beginner because you got to push hard, and I guess it feels like you're going to break it or something. 2 SATA cables. Now if you notice, I have 2 drives and a DVD player. So what I'm going to have to do is have the DVD player and the SSD connected first so I can install Windows. And then, once I'm done with that, I can disconnect the DVD player and connect the traditional hard drive. So now that we got that out of the way, we can take a look at the processor. Now there obviously isn't going to be a whole lot to look at because this does not include the cooler. Okay, so all that's in here is a little booklet with a i5 sticker on the back and the processor itself. Now we can look at the graphics card, which some people think is the most fun part of the build. For me, it's not going to be because, like I said, this is a video editing, photo editing build. So I didn't spend a whole lot of money on graphics. Instead, that went to the i5. So let's see what we have here. So first thing we have It's the card itself wrapped up all nice. Just set that there. Next thing we have is papers, booklets, I assume CDs, maybe even. Okay, so here's the manual, and then it actually has a poster and some stuff in there. We'll get that out in a bit. And then just little connections for your monitor, power adapters if your power supply doesn't have what it requires. Okay, because the RAM and the processor are going to go on first before we even start anything else, I guess I can go over the RAM now. This is 16 gigabytes, HyperX Fury, 2 DIMMs, an 8 gig DIMM, and an 8 gig DIMM, because this motherboard, like I said, since it's a cheaper, smaller one, it only does have 2 DIMM slots. So we just have one for a total of 16 gigs. Okay, so our next step is to lift up this little latch so we can get into the motherboard circuit. Now this part you got to be very careful with so we can get our CPU out. Okay, so there's a little place where it's cut out on the 2 sides so you can grab and lift straight up. Now on the processor, you're going to want to notice that there's a little line pointing one direction, and then it's also going to be on the motherboard. So in my case it points this way. So we're just going to set it down just like that, and you do not want to push it. It should just slide right in if you do it right. And then for this next step, you're just going to push this down and lock it into place. And if you do it right, this little protective panel will just pop right back up for you. So we're just going to do a little P dot, and then we're just going to take the cooler and squash it down on that. Whew. Now that we got that, it's completely secure and we can hang on and kind of wiggle it and it doesn't move at all. We can drop in our RAM before our fan goes back on. So we're going to put 1 DIMM in. There's going to be a notch about 3/4 of the way through, and then the same on the board. You basically just want to open the tabs on the board, and then you want to follow the same little pattern and just drop your memory in. So I thought it was all going good. Usually memory is really easy, it just pops right in. And then I realized that this was DDR4 and I had DDR3. I'm really frustrated with PC Part Picker because it's supposed to tell you what parts will and won't work together, and it said that I didn't have any errors with the things interacting, and clearly I do, because the RAM does not go in the motherboard. So a little upset about that, but we're going to get the RAM returned and we are headed to Best Buy to pick up some DDR4 memory. Okay, so I just got back. We took the original RAM back. We took it to the UPS drop-off to get returned to Amazon, then went to Best Buy and actually got faster RAM. It's DDR4, and this one is 2,400 megahertz, and the other one was like 17 something. So still 16 gigs, still 2 DIMMs. Okay, so our next step is putting the fan back on the cooler. So it just kind of clips in. So we're going to do this side first, and then it's going to go right over the RAM, and then this side clips in as well. The cooler is indeed installed, along with the memory and the processor. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do with this case is take off the side panels. Luckily with this Fantex, it's super easy. They just have little thumb screws, so you can just undo them with your thumb, and then just slide the panel back. Now I want to be super careful with these since they're metal and white, and it has a glass panel, so it looks really good. And I want to make sure it stays looking good, so I'm going to be super careful. It says standoffs are installed for ATX motherboards. This is a micro ATX motherboard, so we're just going to see how that looks in here. Okay, so now we are ready to put the I/O shield into the back of the case. Alright, the I/O shield is all in there. nice and securely. I can't really push it out without force, so now we're just going to drop the motherboard right into that. I want to go around and nicely tighten everything first before we tighten it all down securely. And now we are ready to get some components in here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out which covers in the back we need to take out. So we're going to line this up with the PCI. And it's going to be the first two that we're going to take out. Perfect. Now the card should go in a lot easier. Alright, now that we've done that, we actually need to take our USB, the front ones for the case, out and wrap them around this way because this case actually has it along the side as opposed to the top. So I just got my headers connected for power, hard drive indicator, reset switch, USB, and then front audio. So all those are connected. What I'm going to do now is get out my power supply and see what that's going to look like, and then probably actually just install it now. Alright, and get this all unwrapped. I only see one sys fan on there, and I have two fans. So, yeah. So, power supply is all screwed into the bottom. I'll turn it around so you can see exactly what I'm working on. Okay, so this one's perfect. Now, I'm just going to take this and set it down. It's going to clamp on this side. Then I'm going to look through this, make sure it's good. Yep, that's good. I'm going to take this side and just push it in. Now this drive is installed, and it'll just slide right in. So these SSDs actually don't go into the same drive brackets like the other ones. Here's my Windows 10 installed disk. I'll need that in a little bit. So for these SSDs, you're gonna have to look at it, but it looks like it will screw in if you wanted to do it that way, or you can use this sticky bracket. I'm just gonna screw it in so I get a nice fit. As you can see, it booted up first try, and it is now installing Windows off the DVD player. The solid state's plugged in back here, and then because I only have two SATA cables, here's the hard drive. So I have the DVD player plugged in right now, and then later I'll connect the hard drive. The LEDs look really nice. Give those a nice little test. Alright, as you can see, it's all put together. You can see the cable management in there looks really nice. And the LEDs are all controlled by that switch right there. So, I'm pretty proud of how it turns out. And if you are watching this video, then you know that the computer works.